Today we're talking about glaucoma, which is a leading cause of irreversible blindness. And the big question is, beyond what happens in the doctor's office, can the little choices you make every single day actually help protect your vision? Okay, let's get into it.
So first off, let's just get a sense of the scale here. We're talking about over 76 million people around the world affected by glaucoma. I mean, that is a massive number, and it makes finding any and all effective ways to manage it, well, it makes it incredibly urgent.
And that really gets to the heart of what we're exploring today. We hear about the medicated eye drops and the surgeries, but what if your lifestyle, how you exercise, what you eat, even how you handle stress, what if that could become a real, powerful partner in this fight?
To figure that out, we first have to really understand what we're up against. You'll often hear glaucoma called the silent thief of sight, and for a really good reason. It creeps up on you, progressing so slowly, often without any symptoms at all, until a lot of damage is already done.
So what is it exactly? Well, glaucoma is a disease that messes with your optic nerve. And I love this analogy. Think of your eye like a camera. The optic nerve, that's the super important cable that sends all the pictures from the camera to your brain. Glaucoma starts to fray and damage that cable, and that's what leads to permanent vision loss.
Now, the #1 risk factor for that damage is high pressure inside the eye, what doctors call intraocular pressure, or IOP. A healthy range is generally somewhere between 10 and 20 millimeters of mercury. And this is the main target for pretty much all glaucoma treatments. Which brings us right to the established medical treatments. Before we even get into the lifestyle side of things, it's so important to remember that these are the primary, scientifically proven ways to fight this disease.
And the path is usually pretty clear. You start with medicated eye drops, right? Their whole job is to lower that internal eye pressure. If that's not cutting it, the next step is often laser therapy, something like SLT, which helps the fluid drain out better. And then, for the more serious cases, you've got surgery to create whole new drainage pathways.
All right, now for the main event. We have our baseline of standard treatments, so let's put our everyday lifestyle habits on the stand. What does the science, especially from big reviews by places like the NIH, what does it actually say?
Let's kick it off with a big one, exercise. We all know it's good for us, but could something as simple as a daily run, or even just a brisk walk, offer real, tangible protection for your eyes?
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. Look at the difference here. When it comes to neuroprotection, that means directly protecting the nerve cells in your eye from damage, the verdict is a solid yes. Why? Because exercise boosts blood flow and helps release these helpful protective proteins. But what about lowering eye pressure? The answer there is more of a maybe. The effects are often temporary and can be really different from one person to the next.
And get this quote really shows you the power of that neuroprotection. A major study found that exercise basically turned back the clock for the eye cells in older mice. I mean, that is just incredible. It suggests that exercise makes those nerve cells tougher, more resilient, and just better at handling stress.
Okay, so we've talked about moving the body. What about calming the mind? Stress affects, well, pretty much everything. But could something like meditation actually have a real, measurable impact on glaucoma?
And the evidence here is frankly surprisingly strong. For lowering eye pressure, the studies say yes. And just like with exercise, you get that awesome neuroprotective effect too. It seems to be linked to an increase in this protein called BDNF, which is kind of like fertilizer for your brain and nerve cells, helping keep them healthy.
All right, let's talk about something near and dear to many of our hearts, that morning cup of coffee. Is it just a harmless habit, or could it actually be a problem when it comes to glaucoma?
So here's the deal with caffeine. It's all about nuance. Yes, it can cause a small temporary spike in your eye pressure right after you drink it. But, and this is a big but, we just don't know if those little spikes add up to any real long-term harm. The scientific jury is still out.
Okay, last up in our investigation, supplements. Specifically, a form of vitamin B3 called nicotinamide. Could it really be as simple as taking a vitamin to add another layer of defense for your vision?
This is actually one of the most exciting areas in glaucoma research right now. And the answer, at least in the short term, is a pretty resounding yes on both fronts. We've seen clear neuroprotection in animal studies, and even better, human trials have shown that B3 can lead to actual, measurable improvements in vision.
Phew, okay, that was a lot of science. So what do we do with all this information? Let's boil it all down into some clear takeaways based on what the research actually supports.
So here it is, your lifestyle toolkit. Regular aerobic exercise, the science is really strong on that one. Mindfulness and stress reduction, very promising. Vitamin B3 is super exciting, but we definitely need more long-term studies. And it's smart to be aware of things that can cause those temporary pressure spikes like caffeine or yoga poses where your head is below your heart. But the most important thing on this list is the last one. Talk to your doctor. None of this stuff replaces professional medical care. It complements it.
And speaking of professional medical care, that world isn't standing still either. While our own daily choices can be a huge support, the future of glaucoma treatment itself is rapidly evolving beyond just eye drops. There is some incredible new tech just around the corner.
Just look at lasers. The current standard, SLT, basically gives the eye's natural drainage system a little nudge to work better. But a future technology called FLA is way more direct. It uses this super precise laser to create a tiny new channel, a microscopic bypass to let the fluid escape, all without a single incision, and hopefully with a much longer lasting effect.
And that's really the big takeaway here. Managing glaucoma is becoming this amazing, multi-layered approach. It's combining a deeper understanding of our own lifestyle choices with these groundbreaking new technologies that offer real hope for saving people's sight.
So it leaves us with this really fascinating question to think about. As science and lifestyle start to line up like this, giving us more and more control, what's the next great frontier for protecting our own health? What's next?